Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I hope your weekend is off to a great start and you are as happy as I am to be here on this blustery Friday evening here in southeastern Pennsylvania. My goodness, it's raining, it's snowing, it's doing a little bit of everything out there. And you have no idea how close I came to not being here tonight because my darling wife decided that we were going to go out. So I'll tell you that story and more. But I've got the Friday 7 Ellie Matches Memorial Friday 7 Ellie filled with Haunted Bookshop, as is the tradition here. And let's see who we got joining us. Looks like it's a good crowd already. I see there's Hillbilly Piper. How you doing, Donnie? Welsh Piper, Bear Wolf and Miss Kathy, Todd Munson, Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. Good to see you, Tony. There's Jeffrey Feinberg, Smoking Fireman. Hey, Cody, how's it going? George Tiedemann, good to see you, my friend. Fantastic. And I think earlier I saw my buddy Tim Fernier in the audience, so good to see you, Tim. There's Bona Piper. How you doing tonight, Christian? And Couch, Broke Couch. Uh-oh. Oh, broke, not broken couch, just broke couch. You take good care of my god dogger there, buddy. Couch's poor little pup had a mishap and blew out her knee. So, like the good dog daddy that Couch is, he's getting it taken care of. We are going to be dealing with furnace tonight. As I told you, it was blustery, so I apologize in advance for the noise, but we'll get through it, guys. There's the Smooth Piper. Hello there, Peter and Doug Owen. Still snowing in the mountains of California. Some people are snowed in San Bernardino Mountains 5 to 6 feet. Wow. Yeah, it's been a day indeed, Steve and Kathy. Indeed. Gary Edminster, hello. Peter's got some haunted bookshop in his Friday Savinelli, and there's Texas Piper. How you doing, Eddie? So I'll tell you what happened. It wasn't terrible or anything. We had a very nice evening, but I knew this was going to happen. Around 4 o'clock, my wife says, oh, I got to drive up to drop off the taxes. We finally got all the paperwork together and everything, and she got to drop it off with our tax accountant. And she said, do you want to go with me and we'll have dinner? We'll eat out. And this is code for I didn't cook anything. So yeah, I said, well, I got to be back in time to get ready for this thing tonight. And, she said, oh, we'll be back by 7 o'clock. Like this, we're not going to be back by 7 o'clock. Yeah, absolutely, we'll be back by 7 o'clock. I got back at 7:45. Yeah, so she tried to sabotage us. But we made it, and things were kind of thrown together, but we seem to be doing okay. So I managed to grab the Friday, the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli, and I did get a generous pour of Seagram's. Smoking Fireman, does anyone know what's going on with the Scudo not being in stock for months now? Well, I don't. I was going to say something snarky because I don't like a Scudo, but why bother? You like it, that's all that matters, right? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. It does seem to go in and out of stock occasionally, but it has been a while, hasn't it? Because I remember somebody talking about this maybe back before the holidays. Rain in Ohio, says Gary Edminster. Ah, Todd Munson has changed from MTMTB. Okay, Todd. Good to know. Of course, I will try to remember that. And there's Armchair Piper. How you doing, Ed? Doug, it is a little spooky. We seem to be living parallel lives or something. Wow. Of course, it is tax season, so. There's Sir James. How you doing, my friend? Only here for a moment. All's well. I hope you're doing well, too, there. And he's having a Carrillo pledge. Enjoy, James. Thanks for dropping in. Patrick Grant. How you doing tonight, Patrick? And Puny Pipe Man. Did I catch you earlier? Well, good to see you anyway. Texas Piper smoking a cigar and having some wild turkey. Good deal. Gary Edminster's got Yingling Light. Light, Gary? Yeah. Better than Bud Light. Indeed, Beowulf and Miss Kathy, love them indeed. And while we were having dinner, I was like looking at my watch, and she said, "Don't worry, they'll understand if you're late." I said, yeah, yeah. And then she was asking me about all the folks that she knew. So she asked about you guys and Steph and all the folks that she has actually interacted with to some extent, or that she knows because I have mentioned, uh, which is a fair number of you. I try to get her to watch or to join us more often, but she's got other things on her mind. Couch is eating grapes instead of smoking because the weather's too crazy. I get you, Couch. Oh, rub it in, why don't you, Texas Piper? Michael Case, having a bulk English and a Peterson, and you're down to Diamond Strike anywhere. The Zippo's down? Just out of fluid or having other problems there? PM Piper, hello. Good to see you tonight. I'm sorry, PA Piper, sorry. Sometimes I just need the glasses. Clarence Wood, she's got a hallmark mind, indeed. Oh, good. Well, fluid is you can get more fluid, Michael. I guess you could get another Zippo too, but hopefully you've got enough matches to last you. Ah, that's some interesting information from Doug Owen. It says that if you can't get a Scudo, Peterson Navy Rolls is exactly the same vapor from the same factory. I learned long ago that you should never criticize other people's favorite tobaccos because, we all have our favorites and we get attached to them, but a Scudo is one of those ones that I don't get, and that's okay. I don't have to get it because if you get it and you like it, then that's all that matters. I know there's a lot of folks out there that can't stand Haunted Bookshop, and that's fine too. But a Scudo is one of those ones that I just really don't get. I've had it. I've had it aged. I've had it fresh. It seems kind of. It's sweet and kind of. I don't know. Just doesn't do anything for me. Another good coin is Stokeby's Bullseye Flake. Is that luxury Bullseye Flake, Doug? That one I do have quite a bit of the luxury Bullseye Flake. I soured up a bunch of that a long time ago. I've got some that's close to 10 years old now, and it's wonderful when it's aged. Tim says that the Hallmark Channel is showing Easter movies. A couple falls in love at an Easter egg hunt, and it snows. I would not be surprised, Tim. I would not be. Beowulf and Miss Kathy smoking some sweet cask in a bent apple. That's a copycat, but remember you talking about the original being good. Oh yes, the original. So sweet cask, that would be Sugar Barrel. Good stuff. Whatever happened to Ohio Blue Chip matches? I don't know, Michael. Haven't seen them for quite a while. P.I. Piper says he smokes a Scudo, but he's a Virginia guy. Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm really not a Virginia guy. Maybe it's just too Virginia for me. Armchair Piper's got Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Savinelli. Tim's got Esoterica in his pre-war 4-dot Sassini Lincoln. Nice. Show off. Never had a Sassini. And I've seen pictures of Tim's 4-dot. It's a nice pipe. Sailor, that was the furnace running. The sound should be fine now. Yeah, I'm quite a bit jealous of that one, Tim. I was going to say not so much that giant tree trunk rop that you have, but I kind of am jealous of that too. Tim has this really big, is it a rop or was that one of your brogs? I can't remember, but it's a huge pipe. Oh, so that's interesting. Bona Piper, who is a Virginia smoker, says the Scudo's okay, but not a favorite. And Patrick says, you're not a big fan of Scudo either, Patrick? Yeah, it's, well, you know, that's the wonderful thing about this hobby lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. You know, you can, two people can agree, you know, two people can get together and say, boy, a Scudo is the best tobacco ever. And then they try the next blend and one will say this is wonderful and the other one will say this is absolutely horrible. And nobody knows why. And it just, I just love that there's that much just differences in how we approach the same thing. You know, we're all smoking the same, presumably the same thing when it comes to something like a Scudo, and yet we have very different opinions of it. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking of the one with the bark, Tim. So that's the Rob. Yeah, that's a cool pipe. Uh-oh. Doug's trying to make me a Sassini owner. We'll talk, Doug. We'll see if we can strike a deal. No Morse code tonight, Gary. Well, hopefully whoever it was that was trying to contact you and Doug got their message out and you guys have done whatever needed to be done. Okay, Patrick doesn't have a Sassini, but he does like a Scudo. Gotcha. Okay. You can understand my confusion there, Patrick, but oh, Tim, I have no idea how to value it. PA Piper's asking if I like OGS or like Golden Slice. I've had it. It's not horrible, but it's not something that I would want to smoke every day or all that often, to be honest. To me, it was kind of tart and light, but it's been a while since I've had it. There's Mr. Stan. How you doing tonight, Mr. Stan? Peterson Deluxe Navy Rolls, but Orlick Golden Slices he likes better. And Gary Edminster had some Rustica the other day. How did that treat you, Gary? Really, Doug? Wow. Got one in every sheep. My goodness. Indeed, Patrick, and that I think it's wonderful that everybody's palate is different. I really like that about this. Hey, Tobacco Pipes International, how you doing tonight, buddy? Good to see you. Couch is trading. Hey, that better not be my god doctor there, Couch. Trading his dog for a Sassini. And by the way, Doug, be careful. That dog comes with a hefty vet bill. Kevin Doolin, not a straight Virginia fan. Me neither, Kevin. But if you've never had, oh boy, GLP's Union Square. It's the one that I recommend to anybody that thinks they're not a straight Virginia guy. It's the one that changed my mind and made me realize I do like some Virginias. Bona Piper, I'd probably take OGS over a Scudo. Just because the Scudo is, I don't know. It's just, it's heavier and just as unpleasant. Wow. There you go, Tim. Your pre-war 4-dot in good condition, 4 to 500. Not bad. Bearwolf and Miss Kathy found a way to make fluid and Zippo last longer. Cut the corner off a baggie just big enough to slide over the bottom of the fluid chamber, then slide the entire thing into the outer case. Huh. Interesting. So it's forming like a little gasket between the outer case and the fluid chamber. Interesting. Might have to give that a try, guys. Rustica will keep you up at night, says Gary Edminster. I've heard as much. Lasted a week since last fill-up. That's pretty impressive. I can never get a Zippo to go more than about a day, sometimes 2 days. Jim PM smoking a bowl of spicy exclusive in a CG Cobb. PA Piper, we seem to have similar tastes, because a lot of Kia's the boogeyman to me. Good to hear it, TPI. Glad you're doing well. And yeah, 61 folks are here, so that's fantastic. Great to see you guys all joining tonight. Mr. Stan is a fan of Elizabethan mixture. Suits him right down to the ground. Good stuff. Welsh Piper, been browsing Peterson Navy rolls instead of a Scudo, 22 bucks. Think I'll wait for a Scudo. Well, there's an option. Hey, Big Dave. Has anyone seen my Craftsman 8mm open and wrench? I've misplaced it. I have a Craftsman 8mm open and wrench. I don't think it's yours though. Todd Barso, just stopping by to say hi. Watch later. Thank you, Todd. Have a good one at work there, buddy. Texas Piper says if you keep the Zippo standing upright, it will extend the life of the fluid. I tried that. I think you said that before, and it's amazing how many times I looked over and said, oh, darn it, it's on its side again. It's very hard for me to keep it standing upright. Todd Munson pointing out there's only 6 likes. I see 15, so it's gone up since then. But yes, folks, if you can hit the thumbs up, it really does help us get the word out about the show and other things that we do here. And that's my only interest in this anymore, is just building community. The monetization is done. There's no not selling anything, just want to build community and get together with like-minded folks. That makes me happy. Ironic thing about old Dunhills and Sassinis is that often the nomenclature has been Buffed away with excessive buffing. Never buff the shanks. It destroys the value. Good advice, Doug. Good advice. Piper on the 45. Drive safely, my friend. Glad to hear you're listening in. Plenty of I Hate Roger Goodell out there. Indeed, Tim. Indeed. Phil Rivera. How you doing, Phil? Big Dave, give me a 10 millimeter socket back and I'll give you back the 8 millimeter. Well, now we know we solved that mystery, huh? Big Dave had snow on Wednesday. Wow, that is unusual. 4 times this winter. Wow. Goodell's getting 40 million? Is that true? I'm not sure Goodell does that much. Thank you, PA Piper. Appreciate the sub. There's Voodoo07. How you doing tonight, buddy? Glenn Dunnington. Do you still have Murphy's... Do I still use Murphy's oil soap? Is that what you're asking, Glenn? I do indeed. We could build a commune, Phil. We talked about it if we could just get a hold of that Carter Hall mansion. Lurker Troy, how you doing? Yeah, Glenn, I do still use the Murphy's oil soap. I use for the rim, I use the straight Murphy's oil soap, and for the outside, I'll often use this stuff. And I think I actually got this tip off of Artie, who I think is here tonight. It's this spray-on Murphy's oil soap, and this works really well on the outside. You could just spray it on a paper towel, and if the pipe's not too dirty, just spray it on a paper towel and wipe it off. It works really well. 40 million, unbelievable, PA Piper. Tim. Sorry, Tim. I don't know why I did that. Tim really wants me to pronounce this place, so I'm going to go ahead and say it for him. He wants to build a pipe utopia in Tuktoyaktuk? No. Tuktoyaktuk. How's that? Tuktoyaktuk. I'm sure I'll learn how to pronounce it much better once we live there in our pipe commune. Big Dave has the Are you serious? The Cologuard Classic Golf Tournament? Tuktoyaktuk. Gotcha, Tim. Yeah, Jim, Murphy's, if you're trying to get the gunk off the rim, using it straight is the way to go. You just dab it on there, let it sit for about 20 minutes. Doug wants to know if Phil can do another paneled prints. That paneled prints was nice, Phil. That was very nice. He says yes, he can. You might be getting quite a few requests for that one. That was a nice pipe. Kevin Doolin says the IRS is taking their sweet time with refunds. They're probably, you know what, I'm not going to say what they're probably doing, Kevin. I think you know what I'm probably thinking. free unincorporated land in that place that I'm not going to try to pronounce again. Glenn is asking, am I going to do a clean your lighter video? I don't think I've ever done a clean your lighter video. I've done some like lighter, like information videos. You mean like a clean Zippo, Glenn? So I could do a clean your Zippo. I might have done one a long time ago, but I could put something together for that. Yes, Todd. That's probably the case. Ron Hardcrackers. Old neighbor's old truck valves made noise that sounded like that place you tried to say. Yes, indeed. Voodoo got his refund within a week. Well, you must be on somebody's nice list, Voodoo. Tim, you're making it sound wonderful, but how are the winters? Oh gosh, Big Dave, if they had the test kits at the tournament, that would be hilarious. Yes, Mr. Stan, I do believe that Matches did a Zippo cleaning video. That is right. So Glenn, you might want to look for that. Peter wants a cleaning video too. Yeah, look for Matches, because it's probably going to be a while until I get one. But honestly, the only thing I do, like you can do whatever you want. You know, you can like buff this up and get it all shiny again. I don't care about that. But the wheel gets gunked up over time, and that makes it not strike as well. So I just take a soft brass brush, and when there's no lint in here, so that the wheel can spin, I'll just scrub it with the brush and let the wheel spin naturally as I'm scrubbing it, so that I hit all the surfaces of it and try to get those grooves cleaned out. That's the only real cleaning I do. I might, if this is really gunked up, the furnace is going to come on again. If this is really gunked up, I might soak this in a little bit of lighter fluid or naphtha or something like that, just to dissolve some of that, and then brush it with the wire brush. But that's all with this removed, so I'm not messing up the case. That's about it. That's really the only thing you need to do. Someone walking around the course dressed up in a Cola Guard box. Jim PM's moving on to Luxury Bullseye. That can be sweet, Jim. If you've never had Luxury Bullseye Flake with like 6+ years of age on it, it's a completely different blend, and it's really good. Yeah, just pour lighter fluid on it, Phil, and then try to light it. Yeah, Dave, they actually collect the completed test kits on the 18th hole. Yeah, the fluid is a solvent, Phil, and that's great for the innards of it, but you do still get buildup on the this thing, which doesn't matter. But what does matter is you get gunk in the wheel and it doesn't strike as well. But yes, they don't need a lot of maintenance for sure. Winters are manly there, or they will make you a man. Yeah, Tim, I think that's what caused Everett Young. Piper said, hello. I don't think I said hello to you earlier. Good to see you, buddy. Andrew Sirigliano, happy Friday to you, sir. I know you get it, Phil. You're just being heckled to Average Jekyll. Voodoo's asking, what do you use to clean the lighter fluid residue out of your lungs? I don't get lighter fluid residue in my lungs because I don't inhale it. Couch says Zippo fluid cleans certain parts on mechanical watches, specifically the main spring. Yeah, it's a good solvent. It's essentially naphtha. Oh, that's a shame, Couch. That's a tough thing to do, though. You really need patience and a steady hand for sure. Not me, Jim, but anybody, Jim PM wants to know if anybody's thinking about trying the new Eric Stokeby resolution. Oh, that's nice, Michael. It says the striker on the Ronson comes out. That's a nice feature. Ron's having his first pipe of the day, an old KBB Rustic Zulu, may date around 1906. Nice, filled with 5 brothers, even better. It's the furnace, Voodoo. Sounds like a water pipe, a flushing toilet, tap dancing on styrofoam. I'm sorry, it's cold, and I don't want to freeze my wife. Yes, Doug, it's just my furnace. Think of it as charming. Smooth Piper wants to know what leaf is in it. I think he's referring to the Stokeby resolution. I don't know. Well, not Stokeby. I'm sorry, I've already forgotten. Is it Stokeby? Anyway, the resolution. I don't know. I don't know much about it. There, the furnace is done for a bit. Here we go. Blend contains Canadian Virginia with Oriental. Sounds interesting. Oh, Doug likes the sound. It's relaxing. Look at that. Yeah, TPI, I know some people do inhale pipe smoke. I never have. I think I would be very uh, unhappy if I did. Do I remember Sir Keith Graham? Phil, I do not. And you have several ounces of Peter Stokeby with close to a decade on it? Yeah, folks have made the comparison to Sarge's freezer. Piper said, I don't know if that's deserved. Sarge's freezer was in a class all its own. Presbyterian Reformation? I don't know if that's right. ASMR furnace. Tim starting off with a hippie joke. Pipe Ninja, how you doing, Cliff? Quick stop in Montgomery, Alabama to grab a taco, and he's back on the road. Great to see you too, buddy. Enjoy the taco. Stokeby, that's resolution. Yes, it's Stokeby. Or at least that's what Jim PM said, if I recall. Couch loves watches just as much as pipes, and he's got some nice watches. They show up occasionally on Instagram. No, he did inhale, Tim. Oh, with PA Piper, it's pipes and guitars. With me, it's pipes and tools. Don't tell my wife I bought a new vise. It was 20 bucks on eBay, so it's not like I was sinking a bunch of money into it, but it was an old Stanley 700 that I saw a video on it, and I thought, well, I need one of those. Doug's asking if anyone's tried Presbyterian Ordained. It's in New Virginia. Certainly not me, Doug, but I did see it. I saw that it existed. Tim's only vice is his pipes. I don't know if that was a statement that you do not have another vice or if you're making a pun regarding my vice. Oh gosh, Andrew, I hadn't thought of fishing stuff. Yeah, that would probably count. I have actually, well, it's a related thing. I have a problem with fly tying vices. I have a lot of fly tying vices. Indeed, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. I mean, Sarge's freezer is endearing. Gary Edmonster pipes and knives and multi-tools. Not a bad thing to have around. Voodoo's try the ordained and he likes it. Mr. Stan wants to know how many bowls a day is too many. You're asking the wrong guy, Mr. Stan. I don't know if you can have too many. If you're happy, you're having enough. Hey, Drop Bear Woodworks. How you doing, Glenn? Thanks for dropping in. Doing just fine here. I hope you're doing well too, buddy. And there's little Piper Todd. Hello there, Todd. Good to see you tonight. There you go, Tim. If you run out of money buying tobacco, you're probably smoking too many bowls. And this bowl is done, but I'm probably going to wait a little bit before I light up another. I've actually been, the past couple days, I just haven't been smoking much at all. 2, maybe 3 bowls a day. I had to go back to the dentist, and turns out I had too much jawbone where they extracted the teeth, and he had to grind it down, which was fun. Michael K says, Camara's overcoats? Is that a brand of overcoat? I'm not familiar with it, Michael. And office staplers and motorcycle riding gear. Nice. I love old office staplers. I have a really old one. My grandparents had this one that was cast iron and like about that high and just a beautiful thing. So I've been trying to find one like that. And I got one close to it, which I'm happy about. Dry Fly Fisher 11, how you doing, Alex? Good to see you tonight. Ron Hardcrackers, the singer from Southern rock band Jim Dandy Mangrum from Black Oak, Arkansas, picked up the Clintons to take them. He said Bill did inhale. Yeah, space is the other problem, Jim. Indeed. The Urban Hermit. Good to see you, Everett. Hope your dad is well. Tell him we said hello. And thanks for dropping in there. Yeah, Andrew, it was not fun. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was just, you don't want the details. It wasn't bad. It took them about 5 minutes to do, and, you know, there's not much pain or anything associated with it, but it just doesn't feel quite right. Yeah, I've had that, Phil, where the temporaries are too high and your teeth don't meet, and yeah. Progress Piper, how you doing, buddy? Has been a while, but it's good to see you, my friend. And any time you can make it, it's great to see you. Gonna shake the block because your valves are too long. Yeah, Phil. Oh, that's great, Everett. I hope you and your dad have a great time. Hawaiian made ukulele, sailor. Yeah. I have a ukulele. I have two ukuleles I made. And I have one that's half finished that I need to someday finish. I saw Jim Ink's 14 a day and PA Piper saying 14 a day. Yikes. Yeah, that's. I don't know how I could fit that in, to be honest. Chew everything on two teeth. Yeah. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Eddie? You get a new pipe and it just yeah, you just want it to get to that point where it just fits in and tastes right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Two Strip LJ says it sounds like I got 2 to 3 broken humidifiers hooked to that heater. I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. I will turn off the audio filters the next time the furnace comes on, and you can hear what it really sounds like. Ain't that the truth, Beowulf and Miss Kathy? They wait till you get your mouth is full of tools in their hands, and then they ask you a question. Crazy. PCV valve, Tim? That's not too tough a fix. I mean, well, it's been a long time since I've owned a car that I could actually work on. But if you can get to that valve, it's not too difficult, I think. El Casco makes some great staplers and great cigar cutters, says Welsh Piper. Not familiar with them, but I'll look into it. Yeah, Doug, it's funny how often it happens, but you're right, it is basic dental skill. My current dentist, he always puts some basically carbon paper in my mouth and tells me to bite and rub my teeth together, and then checks to see where the marks are, and then he'll grind it down if it's too high. So it's one of the reasons I like the guy, but he has been causing me pain lately. Ah, Jim PM. Yeah, well, the pup will rule the roost until it stops. So. Hey, Phil, that's a good deal. Trading pipes for dentistry. And I hear there's some good dentists down in Arkansas. Yeah, Michael Case, I actually have some pen making stuff. I've been thinking about playing with it. It's a rear one, Tim? I don't know anything about it. Okay, Voodoo and Tim talking about hookahs is hilarious. They have good strings and doorknobs in Arkansas. Yeah. Oh, Phil, that's crappy. Having a molar split like that is terrible. Doug with a one-tooth joke there. Let's see if this is relatively clean. Yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna smoke my my Falcon with this relatively new I forget what they call this, chimney stack, something like that bowl. And what am I gonna put it in? You know what? Just for the heck of it, let's have some of this haunted pirate ship that I talked about on Sunday. You gotta burn it. West Virginia always gets the tooth dissing. Indeed, PA Piper. Oh, Doug, that's horrible. I know for a fact there are multiple people living in Arkansas with plurality of teeth. Kevin Doolan just finished some haunted pirate ship. On to haunted bookshop. That's the way to do it. I should have started with the haunted pirate ship. This is, by the way, I'm using General Gumby. I don't know why Gumby's a general. If anybody knows why I associate Gumby with a military rank, let me know. I assume it's from one of the Gumby cartoons. He must have been a general at some point. But he's the tamper. And, you know, the haunted pirate ship is actually, it's very similar to how I feel about a Scudo. It's got flavor, and in this case it's a lot of Kia, so I'm not thrilled about it, but it's just kind of, you know, very monochromatic, bland stuff. There you go, Cole, Big Country Briar. You got quite a smile, indeed. Little Piper Todd smoking the new Carter Hall and not sure what to think of it. I like it, Todd. I was surprised, but I actually prefer it. I think it's a cleaner flavor. But yeah, I could see it's different. Definitely different. Yeah, Major Pokey definitely needs to come along too. We'll have to talk to Larry about that. Indeed, Phil. More than one, less than a few. As opposed to specific Gumby. I hadn't thought of it that way, Taciturn Richard. Yeah. I don't know why I've been calling him General Gumby, but that started in an Instagram post, and he's just been General Gumby ever since. Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle. Indeed, Tim. And a simple kind of life never did me no harm. Lady Fire likes the new Carter Hall better than the old Carter Hall. Well, there's two of us then. So I'll tell you an embarrassing story, Tim. When my sister got married, and this is 20 some years ago, heck, close to 30 years, because I wasn't married yet, and I've been married 25 years. I drank a little bit more than I should have. And I wound up, I guess you'd call it square dancing, but I don't know how to square dance, with my uncle to that song. And my sister will never let me forget it. George Campbell has a pipe with a diamond shank that has a crack that goes about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch to the end. This is in the shank. Best way to fix that? Well, George, the best way to fix it would be a band. And it's not easy to band a diamond shank. So I'd highly recommend you send it to someone. Tim West, J.H. Lowe, Premium Polished Pipes, Jim Finn, or Rick at, I can never remember Rick's company's name. Somebody help me out here. Not Briarworks. Somebody will post it, but one of those guys can take care of that for you. It won't be very expensive, and that's the best way to fix that. I was just overserved. That's a nice way to think of it, Jim. Yeah, I'm not square, Tim. I'm too cool to be square. Wasn't that a Huey Lewis song? Smooth Pipers lighten up HGL Lane Limited in his Davison pipes. Davison pipe. Ain't that the truth, Phil? I have several stories of drinking and dancing and being humbled. Briarville, thank you, Puny Pipe Man. Yes, Briarville is the other folk to check out. All three of them do great work and have pretty quick turnaround. Too hip to be square? Oh, well, I'm not hip, so I can't claim that. There's another suggestion from Doug. He uses Walls Pipe Repair in Wallace, Idaho. I don't know. I was trying to combine Ohio and Idaho there. All right. The gurgling water, whatever you want to call it, sound is about to start again. Just warning you. Yeah, George, it's always good to save a pipe. You know, especially if it's one you like. Yeah, Welsh Piper, I saw that. There's, I forget who's selling it, but there's a 3-year aged Three Nuns deal. I've got some that's much older than that, cellared, so I mean, I've got probably 10 or 12 tins that don't have the warning labels on them that I haven't opened, so I'm not going to bite on that one. Idaho and Ida Pimp, Tim, yes. That's a good one, Michael. March is God's way of showing people that don't drink what a hangover is like. Who is that, Voodoo? It's Stem and Briar Piper Pear in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Oh, Phil, thank you for sharing that embarrassing story. Phil had a moment at the Canadian World Fair. I'll let you read it. Makes me feel a little bit better about my story. Ah, Sailor, you shouldn't have done that if they had video cameras. Mine was before video cameras, or at least common video cameras. Yes, Glenn does make square stuff round. Don't be square indeed. Rickshaw's pipes. That's a possibility, Tim. The funny thing about Briarville is that it's under its second owner, and both owners have been named Rick. Oh, Andrew, I like it, so I don't know. But if you're interested, we could work something out, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a shame, Doug. I liked the green. I actually liked it. But I didn't buy much. I only bought 2 or 3 tins. And Three Nuns is one of the few blends that my wife actually pays attention to when I smoke it. If I smoke Crooner, I get thrown out of the house. Everything else she doesn't notice, with the exception of Three Nuns, which she asks me if I'm burning toast. I've never burnt toast, but she somehow thinks that Three Nuns smells like burning toast. That'll happen with the nuns, Tim. I don't know of any, Michael. He's asking if there's any pipe makers who use a laser to rusticate pipes. I think it would just burn. I know there's some pipe makers that use a laser to engrave the pipe. Ever smoke poultry seasoning? No, Phil. That's a curious question. I don't like poultry seasoning because it usually includes rosemary, and I just don't like rosemary. Yeah, Doug, I thought the green was closer to the original. But you know the whole story about the controversy over whether or not the original had Perique, which is kind of a fun rabbit hole to go down if you got some time. They do indeed take it seriously, Tim. Oh, you think the wife might like the poultry seasoning? Gotcha, Phil. Well, she just ignores everything else, so it's not like I have a problem. It's just those two blends for some reason, and she's very consistent with it. I've tried to sneak in crooner, thinking maybe she was just having an off night that night, and no, as soon as I light it up, she knows it's crooner. And with the Three Nuns, I used to smoke that in the morning, and it was really funny because it would wake her up, and she'd ask me if I was burning toast. Yeah, those religious restrictions on tobacco are a difficult thing to deal with, Doug. I don't know about St. Bruno, PA Piper. That's a good question. I didn't think of Austin Powers Cole, but that now I am. And Sailor smoked black tea once. Smells just like pot, but doesn't have the same effect. Why did you smoke black tea, Sailor? Yeah, Doug, I know, and a lot of people agree with you. Um, there's folks that swear it didn't, and then there's this whole thing about actual perique versus perique flavoring, which is really interesting. Kevin Doolan, as a pagan, sometimes is the smoke. Just tell her I'm late for work. Yeah, Phil, that might do it. Hipsters in the 50s and 60s called it smoking tea, says Michael Case. By it, I'm assuming you mean smoking marijuana? Vinegar as a preservative. Very interesting, Doug. Now, Kevin, if I remember and it's been a while since I read this, and you can research it. There's a couple of articles. I think Smoking Pipes might have had an article on it, and there's some other things going into the whole history of Three Nuns. But it was a wartime thing where they didn't have the perique, and they invented a chemical flavoring that tasted like perique. I have no idea what it was. Jim PM, back on music, grew up with some dudes, had a garage band. After high school, they went to California to make it big. I went to college. 6 years later, their album Appetite for Destruction was released. Uh, I don't know what that is, Jim, but somebody else probably does. I'm a I'm a dweeb when it comes to such things. Yes, Tim, it is a falcon. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses covered the Aerosmith tune. Who needs Graybo when you've got a Dr. Evil laser rusticated pipe? I don't know the band, Doug. I think that was the name of the album, and I'm thinking the band was Guns N' Roses because that's what people were saying, but I don't know it. Tim used to cover Kiss tunes. P.A. Piper played mostly Black Sabbath. Welsh Piper's been watching Brad the Bearded Piper, and he's going to get a Klondike Bulldog Brigham. Has Brad been smoking one of those, Welsh Piper? I've gotten to the point where I get to watch maybe one YouTube video a week, so I'm way out of touch with what's going on, which I feel bad about. I wish I had more time for it. Lost in the 50s. I guess we are referring to 80s rock. I don't know. I'm out of my element here. Jim PM first true rock concert was Bob Seger and Kiss in the 8th grade. Boy, I wanted to go see Kiss so badly. I don't know what grade I was in. It must have been close to 8th grade, Jim. It was probably 7th or 8th grade. And my mom just wouldn't have it. My dad would have been okay with it, but my mother just wouldn't have it. I told you guys before, one of my embarrassing facts is I was a card-carrying member of the Kiss Army. Wow, P.A. Piper, that would have been a cool one for a first concert. I'm trying to remember what the first concert I went to was. I didn't go to a lot when I was younger because my mom was pretty strict, and she didn't allow such things. I think I was still in high school when I saw Peter Gabriel. I saw Billy Joel a surprising number of times considering I've never liked him, but there was a string of girlfriends that did, and he toured a couple times during those years. So I think I saw him twice, maybe 3 times. But don't like him. Saw Peter Gabriel 3 times in total. Saw Genesis, not the Peter Gabriel version of Genesis, but the Phil Collins led band. Couple of like smaller venue things. Warren Zevon once. It's all a blur. Patrick Grant, big fan of Rush. Yeah, Rush, I've never seen them live, but I would enjoy that. Big Country, that was royalty. Queen and Heart, wow. Gary worked security for a Kiss concert. Wow, Major Contact High, I can imagine. Wow, Jim. Saw the Beatles at the Indiana State Fair when he was 3. That's pretty cool. No, Tim, it was way past Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. This was in their, Coming in the Air and all that stuff. Whatever that song's called. Me and Sarah Jane, Standing on the Corner. ZZ Top, that would have been a fun one to see, P.A. Piper. Patrick Grant's first concert was Yes at Forest Hill Tennis Day. Wow. Third row on the left side, stage right. Very cool. Tim saw Kiss 3 times and Metallica twice if you count Woodstock 94. I don't count Woodstock 94, Tim. Not for any good reason. I just want to be a contrarian. Voodoo's first concert was Rush. First live concert. 10 times since. Cool. In the Air Tonight. Yeah, that was big. And also, Mike Rutherford was solo at that point, so he had Mike and the Mechanics, and I remember they played a couple of he played a couple of his songs when they did a break. I can't remember anything that he did, but oh, that was just Phil Collins, Tim. Okay, then I'm sorry, I'm not sure what songs were popular at the time. It must have been in the 80s, though. Bob Dylan, yes. I've seen Dylan 3 times. Oh, you saw the 64 electric switch. Wow, that must have been something, Doug. Yeah, the last time I saw Dylan was when I was at that, I've talked about this before, Desert Trip concert, which was an amazing set of concerts. And I saw him, it was the night that he won the Nobel Prize. He had actually won it that morning, and he performed that night. And it was the worst concert I've ever seen because he didn't seem to be even remotely interested. He came out, he sat at the piano most of the time, never interacted with the audience, just shot through the set, walked off stage, and that was it. And, Dylan has his moods, so. But I was pretty unhappy with that. I saw him, the best show I saw him in was in Pittsburgh at what used to be called the Masonic Lodge, I'm pretty certain. No, it was Soldiers and Sailors Memorial, which is on the Pitt campus. I think that's where it was, or maybe it was the Masonic Lodge. I don't remember. But anyway, that was a really good concert. That was probably in like 92, 93. Michael Case was at Knott's Berry Farm when the Everly Brothers broke up on stage. Wow. Mike and the Friday Night Vipers. I don't think anybody's going to want to listen to that one, Voodoo. Oh, that is cool, Tim. I didn't mean to make fun of Woodstock 94. I'm sure there were some great performances there. Jim PM, that sounds pretty similar to what I saw, except he didn't even introduce the band or say what his name was. He just, if I remember right, he didn't even walk out on stage. The lights came up and he was sitting at the piano, and I don't remember if he even got up because I was wondering about his health, to be honest, because I don't think he even played guitar that night. All right, Beowulf and Miss Kathy, you have a good night. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend. I look forward to that video if you get to it. Oh, I'm sure that would have done it, Doug. Subterranean Homesick Blues. That's a crowd pleaser for sure. Was it Soldiers and Sailors, P.A. Piper? I can't remember where the concert venue was. It was either Soldiers and Sailors or the Masonic Lodge, but I think they were right next to one another. Great venue though, relatively small. It was really a good show. Nothing like waking up on Saturday morning hearing Traffic play Dear Mr. Fantasy. Wake Up Little Susie, that's a great song. Worked with a guy that grew up with Dylan, says Voodoo. Bob Zimmerman, yep. I'd love to see Jimmy Buffett Sailor. That would be a great concert, I'm sure. Roger Jim, yeah, you were in that industry though, weren't you, buddy? Quite a list. Doug, I think I know what you mean, but God only knows what Bob was doing. Pipe Appeal, good evening to you, sir. Yeah, it was in Pittsburgh, PA Piper. Right on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Codger Jim took his son to Kiss for his birthday. You're a good dad, Jim. B-52s. I would have loved to have seen the B-52s. They actually just did their final tour last year, I think, and I thought about going, but my wife wasn't too thrilled with it. And Doobie Brothers coming back around. Wow. That would be fun, Jim. Rock Lobster indeed, Tim. I like the B-52s. I also like They Might Be Giants. I've seen them quite a few times. Most recently about, I don't know, 6 years ago or so. I've heard Kenny Chesney does a great show, Sailor. I honestly couldn't tell you what Kenny Chesney sings, but I know a lot of people like him live. I think he's a country guy, new country. Willie Nelson's another one I'd really love to see. Dylan did a Christmas album, Michael? I can imagine that would be abominable. P.A. Piper, I can't stand modern country music, but old country music I love. Midnight Oil. There's a band I haven't thought about in a long time, Patrick. Love Shack is a classic. Yes, Jim. So Tim saw a guy when he was tripping on acid who was watching Nine Inch Nails. That's ambiguous, Tim. That's interesting, Doug. I'll have to look for that video where Jimmy Buffett answers questions at a Paris library. One concert that really surprised me was when we saw Neil Young at Desert Trip. I was not thinking I was going to enjoy that concert, but I really enjoyed that concert. That was probably the highlight of that series of concerts for me, and I didn't think it was one that I was going to like at all. She got the gold mine, I got the shaft. That's a great one, Jim. Tim. Sailor's playing this Sunday, no less than 9 Buffett songs in the set. Cool. Michael Case taught at a high school in Anaheim that had Strawberry Alarm Clock play at the prom in the late 60s. The Furnace is coming back. That's a good point, Doug. Country and Western are different. Crosby, Stills, and Nash would have been quite a show, Patrick. With or without Young. Emerson, Lake, and Powell. Incense and Peppermint. Don't know that one, Sailor. P.A. Piper saw Emerson, Lake, and Powell. Or Palmer. Palmer, okay. Patrick was talking about Palmerston. Emerson and Lake are gone. Ah. Blues Brothers reference from Jim PM. Good deal. Oh yeah, Thelonious Monk. Indeed, Mr. Stan. He's on my listen list for sure. Took me a long time to understand Thelonious Monk. But once it clicked, it really clicked. And these days, I'm much more likely to listen to jazz or classical than rock. But you know, you got your roots. Tim, I get uncomfortable when anything by Michael Jackson comes on. Are you kidding, Armchair Piper? That's not right. Must have been an off night for Harrison. Well, folks, we're at time. It's been a great night. I didn't know what we were going to talk about tonight, but we did just fine. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I thank you all for joining me. I've got one last little tiny sip left here, so I timed it pretty good. That's gone, and my pipe is pretty much out. So I am going to bring this to a close. Thank you all. We will be back on Sunday with something or the other. I'm going to finish up my stained glass window tomorrow, so hopefully I won't throw my back out again. I'll tell you about that for sure. And we'll be back next week. And there's a chance, we don't have the details worked out yet, but there's a chance I might have a co-host next week. We'll see how that goes. So you might want to tune in for that. Hoping that'll be fun, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you all. You all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Good night, all.